Doveston. Welcome to the I Ching Cafe, and especially welcome to our first full weekly episode in June for the week commencing the 7th of June 2021, where we look at what is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to. Now, there's lots of things to pay attention to, and if you haven't yet done so, go and have a look at the monthly overview so that you can see how important focus and paying attention to what's really important is the highlight of June 2021. Last week, we had quite a challenging and interesting flow of water. We had hexagram 29, the abysmal. We had a changing line that said, oh, watch out for going over the brink of taking on too much or diving into the abyss and being carried away with it. So part of that is also working with the well and tapping into building the well and digging deep and making sure that we are creating the structure to support others. So what did that mean for you? How did last week flow? What was this kind of dangerous edge that you backed away from? I was approached to do something for a client and I said, thanks, that actually is no longer part of my thing that I'm doing, and said no. And I know that if I'd said yes, I would have got consumed by that flow. So for me, that was a key warning for the week that I paid attention to, and for you, what was that too? All right, so let's have a look. The week of the 7th of June, 2021, we have a locked hexagram. So for those of you who've been on the channel or the podcast for a while will know that when we have a locked hexagram, there are no changing lines. So the advice is fixed locks. This is what it is for this week. This is it. There's nothing else to pay attention to. And given that in the month of June we're being asked to focus and pay attention, maybe the locked hexagram makes sense. So which hexagram is locked for the week? Well, we have hexagram 40, deliverance. Now, I've spoken before about this hexagram being like the story of what happens after a shipwreck. And there's a terrible storm at sea, and the ship is tossed around. Maybe it's pirates, maybe not, who knows. But the ship is tossed around, and then by the morning, there's kind of all the debris is washed up on the beach. And you are now laying prostrate on the sand. You wake up, maybe you've been knocked unconscious, but you know what? You're alive. Maybe you're a little injured, but you've survived this terrible storm and the shipwreck. And help comes to lift you off the sand and take you to a place of safety. So that's a symbol that I've used for this hexagram before. But another way we can think about it, considering how much thermometers have become a part of our everyday existence, is to understand this idea of temperature and a fever. And this hexagram is the breaking of the fever. So you've been all night tossing and turning, hot and cold, prickly and hot and cold, and terrible experience of this very bad kind of feveristic experience through the night. In the early hours of the morning, something shifts, the fever breaks, there's a perspiration that comes with breaking the fever, but there's also this, your body can just relax, and there's finally a sense of peace that comes, not this inner turmoil that has been going through the body as the body's been trying to fight off the invaders. And it's a really powerful way of understanding this kind of relief process that kicks in with deliverance. It refers to overcoming something that's been a challenge, of finding that inner stillness after the fever's broken, after the fever. So for you, pay attention to this week as to what is this thing that actually has been a struggle for a while that is now breaking. What is the release point that has come to help you? And the thing here is that with this hexagram is lean into the release point and accept that after the release point, after the fever has broken, we don't suddenly jump up and go back to work and run around like crazy people. We just give our bodies a little bit of time to recuperate, to reorientate to where we are and what we need to do. We can't tarry too long in one place. We do have to move forward. But with this hexagram, we're asked just to accept that there's potentially a little bit of a recuperation. Once the fever's broken, give yourself a little bit of a break, and then create a symbol of change. Create a symbol or a story or a next destination that you need to move towards. So once the fever's broken, once you've overcome this thing, it can be an external thing, it can be an internal thing, where you have been wrestling with your own demons, your own ghosts of the past, when that shift happens, just be with it and give yourself a little bit of space to be present in the recuperation process, and then start moving forward. Okay, so this is not a wallow in recovery type energy. This is just accept that we might not have full strength. We don't go full hog into the next phase, but what we do is we set a symbol for where we go next. We create a picture, we set our sights on where we're moving to next, and we start moving in that direction. Not running, lumbering and getting going in that direction. Okay, so this week we are overcoming something. It's really powerful. It shifts our energy. It helps us get out of where we were. And I'd really encourage you to draw on this energy of 40 deliverance in this week. When you're feeling that fever that won't break, draw it in. It's almost like you can breathe in the hexagram. You know, these tools can be used in so many different ways. When you're feeling that like, oh, this fever just won't break, this issue just won't clear, breathe it in, bring in the deliverance, because the energy is there for us. Work in your teams, in your businesses. What is the thing that's been your dark night at sea, the dark night of the soul, the tossing and turning, the difficulty that has been presenting itself on a particular issue perhaps? And where can we then recognize that we've broken it, that we have released from the difficulty, and we can now rest, recuperate, reset our direction, and start moving forward again. A wonderful energy to bring us some healing, some transformation, to step us forward. And I wish that the clarity of what you have overcome and the recognition of the work that you've done and the difficulties that you've gone through become clear to you. You just recognize that, pat on the back, but then set your sights where to next. What is the next phase that I need to get to? That was our week. So short and sweet. Enjoy the deliverance. And I will see you again next week for our next weekly overview. See you soon.